So we're here today with Damien. And Damien was in, or Damo was in a couple of weeks ago, and we did a fit with him on our retool move over here. Now Damo knew that he was going to get, he's going to be getting a P5, a Cervelo P5, because he's been sponsored. He's been lucky enough for someone's fronted up the money and bought him a P5. He's going over to Kona. He won his age group, the 25-29 age group in Melbourne earlier this year. He won by quite a margin, and his goal is to be a world champion. So yeah, he's got himself a new bike. And the importance, one of the important things about getting a fit first is we get, you can see this, all of this data here, so we get a full geometry of the bike. So we fit on this retool move, and then we can do an electronic measure. You'll see here some of the data that we get, and that information can be passed on to the bike shop. You know, we can go down to crank length, obviously the height of the saddle, the fore-aft of the saddle, the crank length, you know, a stem length where that's applicable. Anyway, the bike's just been built. Damo's literally come from the bike shop, and I'm going to optimise the fit, or we're going to optimise the fit, but this is straight out of the box with the instructions that we've given them, and it's pretty close, as you can see. There's a couple of things that we need to do, but this is the benefit of getting the fit first, and I'll show you a bit more detail about the bike, why I like it, and why it's so important with these bikes with an integrated front end to get the fit first. Okay, so looking here at the seat post on the P5, and you can see that there are multiple places in which we can move this saddle. So you can see the saddle's been moved along. There's a saddle rail, and we can move the saddle along the rail, but we can also move it along this seat post. So there are so many options for moving the saddle back and forth. And you know, this has a play on things like the hip angle, it has a play on the back angle, it has a play on the leg extension. It's really important, I think, to have this adjustability, and it's one of the big pluses for the Cervelo bikes. And here at the front end, now here you can see what I mean by an integrated front end. We've got a bunch of spaces here under the bars, and the cabling is run through there, so it's really important that we get not just the size of the bike correct, but we also establish how many spaces we need before the bike is built, because once it's been built, if we want to change this at the front, we want to raise somebody or lower them, those spaces have to be removed, and that's a recabling job. It can be very expensive. And if we come up here to the arm pads, we can see here we've got a lot of fore-aft adjustment here. We can move these pads back, we can move them forward. We really want to get these underneath the rider's elbow so they have skeletal support. That's extremely important, particularly when you're doing an Ironman, because otherwise if you don't have support you're going to get neck and shoulder pain. And if we go to the extensions here, we can adjust the length of the extension. So these have been set from the fit. It's always a little bit tricky because we have the shifters at the end. We generally find we have to make some slight adjustments to the front here, but we won't have an issue with this. And we'll move on to the optimization shortly. So we've made some very small adjustments to the front end of the bike. We lengthened the extensions and we brought the pads back. We've not touched anything else. And now what we're doing is Damo's got his head on, and we're doing some positional work. We're just trying to get a best understanding of the aerodynamics. And obviously the bike is one thing, but body positioning is also key. So I'll be recording this for Damo so that he can watch it back, so he knows where to position his head for optimal reduction of aerodynamic drag. We'll just come around here. Okay. And you can see here, Damo's elbows have gone straight onto those pads and his hands are out at the end of the extensions. That's exactly where I want him to be. I believe it's the most comfortable position. You trust me? Okay, we've got a nice flat back angle. Good leg extension. Okay.